For a country which prides itself on its armed forces, there remains a relentless focus on the conduct of British soldiers in Iraq. This was the scene in May 2004, a day after a ferocious battle between British troops and Shia Iraqi fighters. It was at such close quarters that the British soldiers used bayonets. The British pointed out that they'd fought back after being ambushed, and they said the dead had all been killed in fighting. But their relatives said they had been taken alive and were mutilated and murdered while in custody. And so yet another inquiry begins, this one named after Hamid al-Swadi, who was among those who ended up dead. Some 60 Iraqis will give evidence of this inquiry, a combination of men detained by the British military and the relatives of those who were killed. In turn, the British Army will have to defend its reputation against allegations that soldiers unlawfully killed a full 20 people. So controversial was that fight on the afternoon of May the 14th, 2004, that this inquiry, which will last a full year, will end up costing millions and millions of dollars. The same lawyers representing Iraqis in this case are already seeking a full judicial review of British Army conduct in the whole of southern Iraq during the conflict. That followed the inquiry into the murder of Baha Musa, which ended with condemnation of sections of the British military around Basra. There's already been the Hutton inquiry into the death of the weapons inspector David Kelly and the case for war in Iraq. And, of course, there's the Iraq inquiry itself, the biggest overarching look at Britain's occupation and its role in the war. That began in 2009 and is still going on. Even if the aim is transparency, in the military here they think all this extremely unfair and more than a little ridiculous.
They're there to serve their country. They're often acting in extremely difficult circumstances. And then for a public inquiry to be held many years later in some circumstances is grievous, and I think they have a real sense of injustice about it, yes.
So on the 10th anniversary of the outbreak of war, this is part of Britain's legacy. The cost of these inquiries into British Army ethics in Iraq may reach $150 million. If you'd said a decade ago that this would happen, nobody would have believed you. Laurence Lee, Al Jazeera, London.